Hey, welcome to my Enhancement Shaman Mage Tower Challenge Guide. This is the newest addition to my, by now, quite long list of Mage Tower guides. Let's hope you enjoy this one too. As always, I start by going over the gear, then talents, then consumes and enchantments, and finish it off with a commented run of the challenge itself. As for gear, there's absolutely nothing special about most pieces. I'm just using what I had from questing, so a mixture of quest rewards and some gear from rares that I killed while questing. The only thing I actually paid attention to was the trinkets, where I choose 2 trinkets that have main stat plus off stat. I didn't care if they were perfect, but I just used the ones that kind of made sense. Going over to the talents, I would just use the build exactly as I showed it here, but you can pretty much change whatever you want if you think it deals more damage. The only thing that's necessary to interrupt a mechanic of the boss fight is the capacitor totem. For enchants and consumables, like always, I use the stuff from Shadowlands because it's very cheap. So, Spectral Flask of Power, Potion of Prolonged Power, that one's from Legion, but it's very OP. Healing Potion, then you don't need the armor kit. I didn't use it, but if you want to, you can. For food, any main stat food is fine. I use the Feast of Gluttonous Hedonism. And for Augment Rune, again, any Augment Rune should be fine, because they all do the same thing in Time Walking. For enchants, again, all Shadowlands, Celestial Guidance and Sinful Revelation on the 2 weapons. Fortified Leech on the cloak. Then on the chest you can use Eternal Skirmish, or if you have it lying around, Waking Stats. You can pretty much choose there. For boots, Eternal Agility. Then for rings, I use the Tenant of Haste this time. Leech on the bracer, and if I had a gem slot, I would use a haste gem, but I don't have that here. That's about it for the pre-run explanation. Let's go into the run itself. This fight is fairly undertuned, at least on Enhancement Shaman. On Rogue it was very hard, so it will not take very long. You fight these 3 guys, or one's a girl. One is a caster, one is a melee, and she is a tank. They share a health pool, so the more you can cleave, the faster this encounter will go. I will start by pulling them and immediately countering the caster, so they walk in the same spot. At this point, I'm not popping any big cooldowns because there's a big phase later for that. Just try to DPS. Very soon, the Jarl that doesn't move normally will enrage and start moving. When he's enraged, he does a lot of damage. I just phase shift and then start pulling them into the middle for the next mechanic. Be careful not to die here. Use your instant heal whenever it's necessary. These runes spawn, and when they get too small, they explode. You need to start with the smallest one because it explodes the earliest, and then pull the mobs into them, or rather just stand in them in order. Now I would need to stop for a second. You can see that there's soon a cast of Blood of the Father. That is the main mechanic of the tank, and she will start casting a spell that cannot be interrupted, and if she gets that cast through, she will always wipe you pretty much. There's not much you can do about that. So what I do is I put a capacitor totem on her, which will stun her after 3 seconds for 3 seconds, and this is enough to disrupt the ability. You see that I got stunned from the totem. Now I need to do the runes again. The green patches deal a bit of damage, but not very much. Just avoid them when you can. Now I know I have 30 seconds of pure DPS, so I pop Bloodlust and Potion. And I think also the Elemental. And just burst them down. Very soon, the caster will cast a shield. While he has the shield, he's not interruptible, so you need to remove the shield by doing damage and then kicking once it's down. This is a common mechanic you already should know. You see the phalanx? You have to find the hole and stand there, so they don't kill you. I always try to keep them close together so I can cleave. Soon there will be another Blood of the Father, so cast Capacitor Totem to interrupt them. This also interrupts the Blade Storm by the Jarl, which is very convenient. Normally you would have to run away from that. And now I just deal as much damage as I can. The runes again go from smallest to biggest. At least that's the easiest, and then they are already dead. Like I said, this is fairly undertuned, and also Enhancement Shaman deals a lot of damage. But don't worry if you can't do it as quick, you have about 3 minutes more to do it.